to Off Script, but we're going to talk about how to deal with criticism. Yeah, I know. If you notice the whole hashtag, it was a pastor's wife friend of mine. In fact, it was my pastor's wife. She came up with this, rolling with the haters. And I felt, ooh, that's a little too much for Happy Debbie. But everyone said, no, that's the one we need to go with. And I think as ministry wives, sometimes we do feel like that. Like, we have to roll with the haters and the people that don't like us because we see them every Sunday. And we have to put on a smile and be happy. So I asked some ministry friends of mine, pastors' wives, how they really deal with criticism. So Kay, how do you deal with criticism?
Well, actually, I remember in my 20s feeling sensitive to everything and crying over the slightest bit of criticism, and I did a Bible study, an old one, I don't remember the name of it, and it really taught me to look for the truth in it and throw out all the rest. So that's what I try to do.
It hurts. So sometimes I withdraw until I realize that's not a good answer.
Probably depends on how much coffee I've had that day. If I can hold back my answer and smile, I'll probably wait till I get home to cry.
And then I try and have a conversation or just go on. It just really depends on the situation and the person.
So Colleen, how do you deal with criticism?
Very carefully.
How do I deal with criticism? In responding, I really try to remember what the Proverbs say about our words, that a soft answer turns away wrath, and that a gentle tongue can break a bone.
I probably smile and on the inside tell them what I really feel in Spanish.
Love the people, you don't critique the people, you love the people forever.
But personally, I'm still working out how to not let it affect me because it hurts my feelings.
How do I deal with criticism?
Oh, isn't it true? Yeah. I have a variety of friends. And you know, they all deal with criticism differently. We all do it differently. Some withdraw, some cry, some tell their husbands, some fight, some yell in Spanish. But whatever it is, we're all different. And I'm really excited today for you to meet two guests. They've had a lot of criticism in their life, and they've lived to talk about it. No, I'm just kidding. They're great people, and they're going to help us learn some practical ways to deal with criticism. Well, I am thrilled to introduce you to some amazing women today that are going to talk with us about dealing with criticism in ministry. First of all, I'd like you to meet my friend Julie. I met Julie's husband before I met her at Northwest University, but then I got to meet Julie, and she's an amazing woman. She is a licensed counselor. Everyone needs a licensed counselor as a friend. And she has maintained a private practice for over 30 years. She's a licensed mental health counselor. I talk to her weekly. She is the one we go to when the criticizing overwhelms us, right? I just want to throw that in. I'm all over. If you need help, please get help.
Yes.
It's okay. And we don't look down on you. I always say I look at you as amazing because you speak up when you need the help. And so that's what Julie does. More importantly is she's a mom, a grandma, and a ministry wife. So I'm really glad you're here today. And then she brought her friend, who is also my friend, Neree. Neree, how many years were you in ministry as a pastor's wife?
Oh,
82?
100.
100, I know. I was thinking that. She's really well preserved.
Well, many.
Many years.
Yeah.
And Neree is a speaker. She's many people want her to come speak. She's kind of one of those people, she just has the right word at the right time. She just has wisdom. And I always wanted to be like her, but I'm too loud. But she is a gift. So thank you for being here. Yes. And I just wanted to talk to you guys about this dealing with criticism. And I know it's a hard subject, and you came to my mind right away as a guest because I know this is something that you counsel on. But I read an article recently, and there were 7 things pastors' wives wish they had known before they went into ministry. The number 2 thing was this: I wish someone had prepared me to deal with the criticism of my husband and me.
That's good.
I just felt like, So Julie, criticism can reinforce many times the feelings that women have, and all women have it, not just ministry wives, but that we're not enough.
Right.
And I think criticism for a pastor's wife sometimes can make her feel that way. So really, how do pastors' wives not let criticism define them?
Well, that's a great question. We had a lot of fun driving across the state to talk about this subject and share our stories, and thank you very much, because it all came back again all the time we were sharing. But yes, I think that as a counselor, I'm dealing with it in terms of our own personal fear of not being good enough that we have anyway, that we walk around sometimes with this feeling that we're not good enough. And so when criticism comes our way, it just sparks that, and it just ignites, and it can really blow up into something better. So I just think you have to understand what your sensitivities are, that you already have that sensitivity possibly, and read something about what God thinks about you. Talk to a counselor, talk to a trusted friend. We really boiled it down to one of the things we need most of all is someone that we can talk to honestly, that we can share the pain of feeling like we're not good enough, or the pain of it's our fault, or it's my responsibility, or I should have done it better, I should have done it differently.
Do you think that the best person to share with is another ministry wife, because they understand?
I think it is.
I mean, if it's
think
not you, the counselor.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think it is. I think it's amazing the things that we shared with each other that we didn't know before driving over with this, that we both share very similar feelings, very similar hurts that run very deep inside of us.
Do you think it's, what do you think about this, Neree, that sometimes it's hard, like you guys had this great conversation, you know each other well,
Yeah.
but so many times we don't open the door to that conversation. I mean, we tend to sit down and have coffee. How are you? I'm good. Yes. You know, the kid's good. Yay. But we never go, do you want me to tell you last week I was criticized and it killed me, or my kids were criticized? Why do you think we struggle to open that door and have those
Well, perhaps
conversations?
because it's really hard to admit that somebody has really criticized you, and it really stirs up our own insecurities. And you know, we're already insecure enough because we compare ourselves, such as I could say, oh man, I wish I were funny like Debbie. She's so funny.
And I wish I was wise like you.
And I wish I had Julie's training and her wisdom. And we have a lady in our church who's just beautiful, and she always looks put together. So I compare myself with the best things I see in other people.
That's so good.
So of course I am not going to live up to all that. And so, you know, it's just a matter, I think, of we all have it. Let's just be honest. We all struggle with these things at different times, but for me, it really has pressed me to the Lord to say, this is just who I am, and help me to be better in areas that I can, but to accept the things I can't change about myself. So,
And I think it's taking that focus off the people that are criticizing us and thinking more, how can I walk through this in a better way? One thing I read once is, to some criticism, there's always a little bit of truth, which we don't like to, you know, say, oh, wow, you know, that might be, you know, a little truth to that. So how do we deal with that? Because can be some truth to it. So how do we accept the truth, but let go of maybe the hurtful feelings?
Yeah. You want me to answer that?
Sure, go for that.
We talked about that. What are some of the things that people have said? And fortunately, I think because my husband is an associate pastor, I don't get the same criticism that the lead pastor gets. I just think that's a fact. And so I have never experienced someone actually criticizing me directly, saying something that I had to look at and go, well, maybe I'm really not that friendly. I mean, nobody has said that Julie, she's never friendly, or that Julie Stevens, she never even looked at me when she walked by. She never invites me out. You know, those would be probably things that people are thinking about me, or and just to look at that and to know that if my weakness is that I can get on a goal in mind and walk right through the congregation, not even look at people. They could assume that I don't care about them, or that I don't like them, or that they're not important, or I'm a snob or something. And so we do have to look at that, and I think we have to adjust the way we interact with people, to be sensitive that people are sensitive in our congregation, to always be kind and walk out in the fullness of Christ rather than the emptiness of rejection.
Yeah.
So, Neree, you're kind of a senior pastor's wife for many years. So what she said is, I love that. Just walk out in the fullness of Christ. But sometimes people criticize, and it's really hurtful.
Yes.
And you're trying to put a smile on, and you're trying to minister to those in the church that really are there to be ministered to, but you can... I remember one pastor's wife had this gal that would just email her every week about what she wore. And she asked me one time, I'm just struggling with this. I try to wear something different. She doesn't like that. What do you do with that kind of criticism? And she tried to take the truth out of it. Okay, maybe the skirt was a little short. But yet, she's like, what do you do? What do you do with those kind of people in the church that feel that they've been called to help you be better?
I think I draw wisdom from my mother, who would say, people are wounded, and they'll take their wounding out on you. And so let it go. It's like wind going past you. Let it go past and don't take it. The criticism I wasn't expecting was the criticism of my husband. And I, as a pastor's wife, it is very hard when your husband is attacked. And I married he's such a nice guy, such a nice guy. So our first year in our first pastorate was just wonderful. It couldn't have been better until the business meeting came up. And I had no experience, I had no warning at all, but after the first year, they voted on for 3 years. And seriously, it was the most horrendous thing as people were attacking. And it sounded like most of the people were attacking him, but it was just a few. And so I was in shock. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. It was a terrible, terrible experience to go through. But I discovered how the Lord used it in my life to help me to learn to love in spite of, to grow up through that experience, and to let Him be my comfort, to let Him encourage me, and to have compassion on other people who go through an experience like that. So it really did work together for good in my life to go through that.
And I think it's so important, just like Neree sharing with us right now, this is why we need other pastors' wives in our lives.
Yes.
So
Yes.
a younger pastor's wife could hear that right now and go, okay, who just went through a business meeting, something that was really hurtful, and say, I just need to know that I'm going to grow through this, I'm
Yes.
going to be okay,
Yes.
and that God walks with me.
Yes.
And I think it's so important not to let people's criticism define us.
Yes.
Yes.
We have to
That's
let
good.
God refine us,
Yes.
but don't let others' criticisms define us. Critical criticism needs to come from people you trust. And I think that's where we, as pastors' wives, will grow as we come together and as we do these things together. So I just want to thank both of you for your words, for your input, for your wisdom. And I just want to say that I might be calling you in the future. But thank you so much
I'm
for...
retiring.
Oh, she's retiring. She's done with criticism.
More work at church.
But I just want to thank you both for being here.
Yes, thank you.
Weren't they great? Thank you. So ladies, the scripture I want to leave with you today is found in Titus 3:2. They must not slander anyone and must avoid quarreling. Instead, they should be gentle and show true humility to everyone. And ladies, that's a lot of it. When we hear criticism, walk in humility. Take the truth that you need to maybe take to heart, but let the other go and don't hang on to it. And if you're really, really struggling, I have something for you to take home. A stress ball. Says, yes, I can do this. Just if you, like someone criticizes you and you feel that flesh coming up and you want the Spirit to flow through, just take this. And don't think like it's their head, okay? Don't do that. You know, rolling with the haters, just go, you know what, God, I pray blessing over them. I pray you encourage them. I know they have struggles in their life, and I will not let those words hurt me, and I'm going to be okay. You can do this. Awesome. So I have these for everyone here. I know you're going to enjoy these. Woo! Come on, ladies. Enjoy. Woo! 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 Oh, on the floor, everywhere. Come on. Have fun. Thank you.